Karibu Nyakamami, karibu.
Riding the protocols that have already been observed.
May I request that we be settled to allow Honorable Ruth Odinga to address us. Kindly, protocol officers, assist our guests to settle so that we can proceed. Kindly. Mheshimiwa.
As you all know, my name's Ruth Odinga, Buzia. I am the 9th born and officially the last born of Mary and Jaramogi. Beryl was my sister, or is my sister. I would not want to say it was. Youth leader is the firstborn, and I'm the lastborn. So you can imagine how youthful I still am, if youth is the still leader. It's a bit hard for me to actually stand up here to talk about my sister Beryl as if she's no more. Beryl and I were very, very close. Beryl is a sister I had when all my other siblings, my older siblings, were abroad. Honorable Uhuru was in Russia. Honorable His Excellency Raila Odinga was in Germany. My sister Wanga was in Germany. My brother Gola was in Russia. And so, basically, Beryl was the one who went to Nairobi University, but before that, she was the one who was with us. For me, she loved me a lot. I was that young sister they all had that they never expected their mother to have. Even between me and my brother, who had believed all the years that he was the last born, I came maybe 6 years after him, so nobody had expected me to be there. So they all pampered me, but Beryl was there with me as I was growing up. When I was in primary, I remember she even wrote an essay for me in school, and when I went, the teacher was very suspicious. Mr. Fernandez said, "Are you sure you're the one who wrote this?" Because Beryl had impeccable English, and she was really good in English. So she wrote for me an essay that was not for a person who is in standard 5. The teacher then made me a week later to write the same essay, and you can imagine what happened. But Beryl really mattered us. I lived with her as she was married to the husband then, Ambala. And actually, when Auma was born in Victoria, I'm the first one who held her because she had had a very long labor during birth, giving birth. So Auma, Chizi, even Taurai in Zimbabwe, I am the one, the little sister, who always lived with Beryl. As fate would have it, I even went to live with Beryl in Zimbabwe. That was after the 1982 coup, which saw some of us, including Governor Orengo here, go into exile. Going into exile, I lived a bit in Uganda, Tanzania, but Tanzania, we were told, is not safe. They were returning all refugees to Kenya, so I then had to go to Zimbabwe and live with Beryl in Zimbabwe, where I did Form 5 and Form 6. I was one of the only people who went to school through Beryl, who went to school driving a Jaguar and parked it next to the teachers who didn't have Jaguar. You can imagine how I was getting a lot of X's on in my exams. So Beryl was a very special person. Amongst us all, apart from Raila, I would say Beryl is someone who loved her family. She wasn't such a public person, but Beryl loved her family. She loved us all. And she strived, because Beryl was a classy lady. She believed, and I think it's true anyway, that we come from a royal background, and therefore we must always remain royal. That was my sister Beryl. She didn't want all this, and she'll tell you, you get what I mean. I getting, because, and you get it. Are you getting it, you people? Yeah, that's Auntie B for you. She taught us impeccable English. She taught us to read. I read the first comic books when I was in standard 4. There was Dandy, there was Bino, there was Andy Cap, there was Tintin. You know, any of you can remember those. Then she put us into James Hadley Chase, which were some novels. And she loved reading, she loved novels. She loved us to know. She taught me how to use my fork and knife and to put it properly. And she taught me a lot, and she taught all of us. We all lived with her in Zimbabwe. My brother died, and she took up my brother, the third born, Agola. She took up Agola's children and Agola's wife and took them to Zimbabwe. Hello, this is so shameful. So shameful of our leaders. This is wrong. Completely wrong.
Niombe sote tuketi ili tuendelee na ratiba. Niombe asante. Niombe sote tuliosimama tusalie kuketi, na niwakumbushe kwamba tuko kwa ibada ya wakfu. Wewe ulio na vuvuzela na hiyo bango, huyo kijana aweke chini. Utaweka chini. Sisi tumekuja hapa kuomboleza, na hiyo ndio itafanyika hapa. Ninaomba sasa tumpatie nafasi aliyekuwa anatuzungumzia anapoendelea hapa. Kama nilivyopanga, maafisa walio na sare rasmi ya serikali peke yake, wengine wote walinzi na wasaidizi bukae nje ya hema, na itifaki hiyo ifuatwe kikamilifu. Nikuombe kwa unyenyekevu, Mheshimiwa Ruth Odinga, uendelee na hotuba yako. Samahani.
Hello? We can't even continue. It is unfair to come and do this kind of thing. My sister was so peaceful. She would have loved to have a peaceful funeral. My fellow colleagues, my fellow politicians, this is an embarrassment. It is not right. Haya, naendelea. Wacha niendelee. My sister was the first woman in the independent Zimbabwe and first black to become the town clerk in the third largest city called Mutare. You can imagine how hard it was working that time when there was still just independence, and most of those blacks there wanted themselves to become the clerks. And so they gave her a hard time, but being a tough lady, she managed to work there, and later, as Dr. Sally has said, went on to work in Chitungwiza, the largest high-density urban settlement in Zimbabwe. Beryl was very staunch. She was a tough lawyer. She worked, and even up to her death, she was in the Nairobi. She was at the chairman of the railway pension scheme. Then, followed by that, Beryl became the Athi Water chair, and now she was the chair of the Nairobi Water. Beryl is a strong lady, and a strong lady. My son, Papa, when you talk, you never, Papa, when you talk, you never told people you are my son. That is my last born son. And I to a Papa Odinga uyo. Owashana na wash the luo matin. Udwa na wash the luo. Udaku wash the luo maero mongo ni yawa. Awachonu ni. Bele la chieng handi muna nokani. Nenya Odinga mathuon kabisa. Ene molwa kinyi wenwa mabende thuon. Awach ni dalani. Okaneno ngamok thuon. Jite ewaluo koth baba to kata mama we no tegno. Beryl ni osetiyo kae kano tieko rodhi otiyo Zimbabwe. Ene dhako mano kuongo bedo town clerk e Zimbabwe mane bang independence. Koro ai kano tieko kuno to duogo. Beryl ne jahera. Wante wasome tie Beryl. Makatan mine nyakani kijoma wan godo kae wan wate wasome tie Beryl. Beryl no konga mwero koko miya kwa jogi no wego koko giye wa ik Beryl gi hera gi luoro mano hero. To Beryl ne gi herre go wadi gi Raila. Ma hera manyo go gi Raila kata an gi nyamera makinyi kanyo watuo watuo Beryl an manya sebedo katuo Beryl atuo imatere India aduogo kode Kenya adoga tere India kendo machiegni ni majuo kode manyan manyo tho e lweta to nyo tho ko mor na nyo tho ka podo smile nyo kodwa tho to nyo tegno gi chunye no to nyako mathuon nyo ko wadwa neno ni tho nyore to en nyako mano tegno to maugik nyocho secha kodhi maber manyo dhi kada Zimbabwe to kane waduogo ma wayudo ka mane Raila to no wacho wan gi nyamera makinyi kiawa Beryl motamre iwago Raila ni moko ni wan wawacho ng'amo kia no thono nwache ni mone go thoni kiewa kang no budhi kapok oluo wadgi to mane kako timore oluo wadgi wageno no bobedo kode e achiel to adwa mon kapok atieko tangisu ni wan joma ne nitie Zimbabwe mane Beryl puonjo Zimbabwe wang'eny kata nange taura nango na kutaura shona maningi gana gona kutaura na sio mimi only. I want us to sing because Beryl loves singing. Ni neno kiwacho gimana mora onge gima di more kodhi elo kawa wero ne wera chien mano hero omiyo nyithindo ma Zimbabwe ringuru ka pio joma no dak Zimbabwe kwau biuru ka wino kreturu pio daka chien adwanwa wer ne wera chien ta weyu gi machiek na sangen letane uru okay. ne wan go kaka katabu, wan gi ocheka mag Beryl, wadwa mana wada wada achieng no dak Zimbabwe, kakore kagi yudo independence, koro ne wan during what you call chimurenga. Kata an, Edgar Tekere ne luonga ni chimbido, mana en nyako mar jawo. Koro, wadwa wero wen moro, to ubo keto mana badu malo kama kwa wer, iluonge ni wana baba. Haya, 1, 2, 3. Anto duwanda chalo marogwa, tadi tem. Wana baba, wana baba, wana baba, wana mai, wanonezwa, nemabunu, zinonifungisha musha, wakanaka we Zimbabwe.
Our next speaker, she walked into our meeting room and then she told me, Nera, do you know that 1 + 1 is 2? I said, yes, I do know 1 + 1 is 2. And do you also know that I'm a scientist? I said, yes, I do know you're a scientist. Do you also know that 1 + 1 is not 11? I said, yes. So you also do know I'm not a politician? I said, yes, I do know you're not a politician. So she said, my sister's funeral committee must be run like clockwork. And she said, everything to the T, you must dot them. Yes, and you cross the T's. Karibu, Dr. Wenwa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I wasn't sure whom you are talking to. Whom you are talking about until you called my name. I thought that was someone else, but it is okay. I won't say very much because I already spoke about Beryl just the other day in church, but I was very surprised that so many people approached me telling me that they would have liked to hear a little bit more about Beryl's earlier life. And the person who can do that is none other than myself, because we grew up together. And I think you probably know, our father Jaramogi had a special name for all of us. Oburu was called Onzugu, Raila was called Alualuya, Agola was called Wow, I was called Nyaginera or Dodi. She was called Handi or Wodwa Handa. Odima was Dimesi, Osawe, Sefji or Wodagot, and then Abiambo was Nyakamami. Oburu and Raila and Agola, most of them, if not all, during the early days used to call themselves Owadga Kinyi, and that irritated Achieng. It was not because of any love that those people had for me, but it was because I was bullyable. Whereas she had a very strong character, and if they sent her, she would just tell them, go yourself, you go and do it yourself. And even if your mother beat her, she wouldn't cry. Until my mother got so angry and said, this child has got no respect for me, because when a parent beats you, you know you are supposed to cry. But Beryl would tell me that I have decided next time she beats me, I will not cry. And then she wouldn't. You know, she had that sense of justice or injustice. If there's any injustice against her, she will stand up against it. And you know, she's the only one who would stand up against my father. People feared my father, but she would stand up and tell him no. When Gola and I were... First of all, let me say that when we were small, we had our special language that we used to communicate in, that other people would not understand, even if we were talking about them. In fact, there were two. One was called Sre language, and the other one was Gulu. So I'd say Achigulu, Achigulu, Awagulu, Nigulu. And then she'd tell me, Akisre, Awasre, Niasre, Wadisre, Basre. And nobody would know what we are talking about, even if we are backbiting you. My mother used to, I think she didn't really value preschool. So, but Beryl and I loved school, and we were staying here, just behind, this is our home. So, we would plan that we are going to sneak to school. We would go and hide, take our clothes the night before from our mother's wardrobe, hide it under our bed, which we were sharing, and then in the morning, we'd put on those clothes, run to school. And then after no time at all, we'd see my mother coming, and immediately we see her walking to school, we would be wailing, the school would come to a standstill because of the wailing. But we knew very well that she would find us, she would come for us, but we would still do it anyway. Eventually, my mother gave up and allowed us to continue going to school uninterrupted. I always admired the way she would stand up to our big brothers, Uhuru, Raila, and Angola. But like I said, that was the reason why, because I was so mild, they were bullying me, so then they started calling themselves Akinyi's brother, and people thought because they loved me, Uhuru, I knew your secrets. So there's one time my father brought us from Kisumu to Bondo during the holidays so that we could pick cotton. Those days, this area used to grow cotton, and we couldn't imagine that now we are sophisticated girls and we are being taken to Bondo to pick cotton, while other girls would be talking about having gone to movies during the holidays, and us, we would be talking about picking cotton. So my father left us, went back because he was to travel to Nairobi. But Oburu had come on holiday with Dr. Ngonga Chieng. I saw him here. We didn't tell them that we are supposed to stay here. When they were going back to Kisumu, we went back with them. When my father came back and found us in Kisumu, what we went through, I will tell you about it next year. So then one time, let me talk about how Beryl and I planned to confront my father about his strictness. When now we felt we are girls, we wanted to date. And so he was not allowing us to go out with boys. In fact, if you went to town, you had to come back for lunch. Even if you went at 12, at 1 o'clock, you have to be home. Otherwise, you have to tell him, where did you eat lunch? And if you went in the evening, by 7 latest, you must be back home. So we decided we will go and confront him and ask him to start treating us like adults. And we agreed that because Achieng was braver, she's the one who would start and then I will join. When we went to my father's bedroom and he got up and was shocked to see us because that was a first. So he asked us, what is it? We said, we want to talk to you. Then he started looking at us. What is it? We got so intimidated and scared, we all kept quiet. Then in the end, he looked at Achieng and Achieng said, we want you to treat us as adults. That is completely different from what we had agreed. Because he did not believe that we would be wanting now to go out with men, that his daughters are now old enough to want to date. And a lot of men do that. They date other people's daughters. But it never occurs to them that their own daughters can also want to date. I think that is very true. So my little sister Diambo was a big nuisance to us. Because when we were in Kisumu, we would lie to my mother that we are going to visit our girlfriends to study. But then we were going to a place called Hippo Point. There was something called Boogie, and there was a live band. So whenever, after we have gone, Adiambo would go to my mother and say, they are lying to you. They have gone to dance at Hippo Point. And my mother had binoculars. So she would go to the balcony, direct the binoculars to the lakeside where we were. And then Adiambo would be pointing out, you see, that's Akinyi, the one booging so hard. The one Aching liked Sukusu. There's a dance called Sukusu that time, you know. That's Aching, dancing Sukusu. Then by the time we came back home, we thought that we are looking, you know, like people who have been working so hard. We have been studying, only to run straight into trouble. Adiambo, I think you owe us an apology. Beryl, like I've said, is one of those people who could stand up to my father and say no. So my elder brother Gola joined Nairobi School. I went to Kenya High School for my higher. But then Nairobi School was called Prince of Wales those days. And then my father said, no, what are people going to say about me that I have been preaching about culture and my children are going to Wazungu schools? So Beryl should go to Nyamira. I have never seen that type of war. My sister, Beryl, told him, why should I be the one to learn Luo culture? Was Luo culture created for me? I refuse. You know, he brought her here briefly, but she fought him until he removed her after only a short while. Yeah, so, and then another time, maybe I should stop there. I just want to say that Beryl was a professional, serious one. I went to visit her in Zimbabwe one time when she was CEO of Chichungwiza. And at that time, she was under 30 years old. But when we reached there, everybody rushed to the car, opened the car door for her. They took their briefcase, they were saluting her, calling her boss. And, you know, they are walking very fast to the office like a real boss. And here was our older sister wearing some very simple jeans. I could not tell them that I am the older sister, you know, but I will tell you another day how I handled that situation, but not now. I know there have been a lot of speculation about... No, let me also say what Adiamo said, that Beryl loved her family. She loved her family. We could have our own difference, she and me. But if you attack me, she would immediately change and go for your neck. So there's one time that a con man came and cheated me that he was, I don't know, some famous musician and was conning me out of money. And then we tricked him. By the time I found out, we tricked him. And he went to an office, and unluckily for him, he found Beryl there. So Beryl told him, you landed in my hands. Yeah, you have been trying to con my sister. I'm a lawyer. I'm going to arrest you, take you to prison. And you know, Kenya, there are no prisons. You have a very good body. You are going to be made a woman in prison. The guy started crying. By the time I reached there, his eyes were red. He was crying, and Beryl, I wanted to sympathize with the guy. Beryl said, no, if you are interfering, we will lock you up in another room. Me and Amondi, my friend Amondi, who is even inside here, are going to deal with, we'll lock you somewhere. I will come back, and me and Amondi, we will deal with this man. The man was crying tears. So that was Beryl for you. So finally, there's something I forgot to say during Raila's funeral. So let me say it, please. Let me say there's something I wanted to say. Oh, another politician is coming, and they will drown me out. Let me finish by saying that I always believe
Kindly proceed, Daktari.
So I wanted to say during Raila's funeral that, first of all, when Corona struck, yeah, please, people, you are spoiling my sister's funeral. Some of us are not even politicians, and politicians, I really want to plead with you. If you know that your people are going to disrupt functions, why don't you come early? I think your people are not being fair. So anyway, what I wanted to say during Raila's funeral, that after Corona, there have been so many deaths, so many sudden deaths, people just falling dead, and especially because of blood clot. And I just wanted to request the researchers, Kemri, and all medical researchers to please do research and find out if there's any relationship between Corona or the long-term effects of Corona, because I still believe that Corona has something to do with the sudden surge of people dropping dead. Finally, there's been an outpouring of love and sympathy towards our family from all over the world for what we have experienced the last 2 months. My mother had 9 children. 2 months ago, we were left 5. Now we are only 3. There were 6 boys and 3 girls. So somehow the boys used to die, but the girls have been strong. So Beryl is the first sister now to die. And I want to thank you all, because I had always prayed and prayed that please, when I looked at them, because I love all of them, and I love them equally, even in their differences. And I was always hoping that if one of us is to die before the other, it should be me. But that didn't happen. That was my wish as a human being, but God planned differently, and we are all going to go. Me, I cannot break down. I cannot break down because I have to be strong for Beryl's family. I'm now, all of us now, Auma, Chizi, Taurai, and your children, we, Dr. Buru, myself, Adhiambo, and all the others, we are there for you. You are not orphans. Even if you need just a shoulder to lean, to cry on, we are there for you. We are there to support you. So I know there's been a lot of support prayers for us, and you feel it. But then there are also the negatives. Beryl and Raila had something in common. They would get angry very quickly, but forget equally quickly. So if you said anything negative in social media or anything, don't feel guilty. They have long forgiven you, and therefore even us as a family, we have forgiven you. We have no grudge. Rest in peace be.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Tabu, sir, very briefly, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Tabu Osewe Odinga. First and foremost, I'm the area MCA. I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you, protocol observed. I want to welcome everybody who took his time or her time to come and omboleza with us. As a politician, before I say anything, I want to express my disappointment. Really, what has happened here is not fair to the Odinga family. More especially that we are mourning today a second member of the family in less than 2 months. I believe or I suspect, because what I saw here is not normal. There is no way. In case anybody paid somebody to come and cheer when he or she is entering, when we are mourning Auntie Beryl, the darling of our hearts. Really, it is cheap of you. It is desperate of you. I'm talking as a politician. When it reaches to that point where you have to bribe people to share, to shangilia you when you are walking in, know that it is not, you are not popular. You are just desperate and cheap. Shame on you. And in case you know you didn't do it, hello? My name is Tabu Osewe, as I've said. I am a sister-in-law to Beryl in the sense that I am Beryl's young brother's widow. Apart from that, I want everybody to know that my husband has been late for the last 26 years. Out of those 26 years, I lived with Beryl 13 years. In less than 2 months, as the Odingas, we've lost 2 precious souls. 2 most generous people in our family. And I must say, they were the most loved in our family. So we are tired as the Odinga family. We are exhausted. We are devastated. But when we saw you streaming in here, we got strength that you had come to condole with us. I'm just going to acknowledge a few people. I'm not going to talk about Auntie Beryl and I, because this will mean me being here up to tomorrow. My family members, they know what I mean. I lived with Auntie Beryl for about 13 years. When she first saw me, when she first met me, she liked me. She took me to Zimbabwe, and I could go to Zimbabwe often. I won't enter that. Let me just acknowledge. I have my sisters here who are equally very close to Beryl. Just wave where you are. I have my brother Nicholas. Please wave where you are. My 2 children, I have 2 children. I have my firstborn son, Samoro Odinga, and Ayuak. Samora and Ayuak lived with Beryl in Zimbabwe in their early years. They are now in the US. They couldn't afford, or rather they couldn't manage to come to bury their auntie. Samora wrote a tribute, but I'm not going to read it because there's no time. The only thing I can tell Auntie Beryl, that Samora has really thanked you. You took him to a very expensive school where your own son Taurai went. That is Prince Edward School. They are in the US. They've said Pole, and they've said they are devastated. My Taurai, Tinotenda Shamwari. Wana wenu wose waripanapa nasi. Mkoma Lawrence na mrora wedu waripanapa. Lawrence, just wave where you are. These are from Zimbabwe. Fambai zakanaka Shamwari yangu. Tozo kuonana tete wangu. Tozo kuonae. Mwari ndiye anezuiwa Shamwari yangu. Ko tatenda sterek mai Taurai. Taurai anozara zakanaka. Tozo kuonae. Tozo kuonana futi. Maitabasa tete wangu. Thank you so much, Tinotenda. Just one more, please. It is always good to appreciate. Auntie Adhiambo, thank you, Nyakamami. India have become your second home. You took Beryl to India 3 times. You were there when Baba left us. You never got tired. Beryl passed away in your hands. Thank you, Nyakamami. Thank you very much. Thank you, all the Odinga family. Thank you very much. As I said, I'm an MCA. My speaker is here. I know you'll be called later. Jojo Kode and all MCAs from Siaya or anywhere, Kenya, please feel appreciated. Thank you, Minpin. Thank you, Auntie Wenwa. Dr. Buru, God is going to give you strength. Thank you, my governor. You are always there for us, the Odingas. Keep it up. God will bless you. Thank you, everybody. Asanteni sana. Maitabasa sterek. Magiongele Gresongile, wherever you are, Harare team. Feel appreciated. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, Tabu. She told me she was going to take a minute, but Governor Wanga, mnajijua mkichukua hii kitu bas. I had a very, very able member of my committee, Ami Perez Ambala. Honorable Amy, apana yeye ona namna hiyo. She's very tough. You know, she'd walk into those meetings and what's happening? What's happening? Thank you so much, Amy. Amy is Beryl's eldest daughter. Eldest child, actually. Thank you so much, Beryl, for having Amy. Karim.
Amoso uduto. Nyasaye ber. Sechete. It's taken me about 10 days, only finishing yesterday, to put into words what I want to condense about my mother and try and make it as short as possible, even though I know I have so many memories. But I just wrote something down which makes it easier for me to be able to talk without me getting too overwhelmed. So if you'll bear with me. All protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends. We are here today to honor my mother, a formidable woman and the anchor of my life. My mother carried us as a single mother after my father passed away. In Zimbabwe, she put us in private schools, determined that her children would have the best. She built businesses, a restaurant, Roots of Africa. When she opened that restaurant, she made me her project manager at just the age of 19. Together, we searched for cast iron plates to give it the feel of carnival, chose plants, furniture, and materials. Now that I am forced to look back on those moments, they were not just about building a restaurant, they were about building me. My mother worked hard. We have homes in Zimbabwe and Kenya due to her sheer hard work. She was strict and protective. She would chase boyfriends down the road with knives, true story, determined to raise us with dignity and discipline. She did not entertain boyfriend distractions, but she was also very comical. She made jokes all the time, told stories about everything, and taught us our history. I used to tell her that she should have been a comedian instead of a lawyer. Yet even in her legal work, she had her wit. She would always say, I can tie you in litigation for years, if she felt someone was testing her or trying her. Her love and concern for her children was boundless. When I got a job at Deloitte, she didn't quite believe it at first, and she thought I wouldn't enjoy working there because I hated maths. But she still sent her driving school driver to take me to and from work every single day. Earlier this year, after I'd come from seeing my mom, One evening at the hospital where she had been admitted, I fell breaking my leg and had to be admitted in the same hospital. Immediately, she was informed that I too was admitted in the same hospital. She had the staff wheel her bed to my room just to be near me. Ironically, for some reason, Mom was deeply upset about my predicament, trying to understand it. And she said, "Whoever is trying to kill me, leave my child alone. Don't touch my children, deal with me." That was her love, fierce and protective, and unconditional. After that, I was with her every day until I left the hospital. I thank the Nairobi County Assembly and the entire leadership for Nairobi County for always understanding the fact that whenever I was not available in the assembly, it was because I was with my mom. She was my best friend. She traveled with me everywhere. Anywhere she could take me, she went with me. We went to Turkey, we went to Israel, we went to Mombasa, we went in Zimbabwe, we went to Dubai, to name but a few. She stayed with me in Joburg, spending long periods of time with me and her first granddaughter. She always enjoyed Joburg, and I loved spending that time with her because I loved the fact that I could take care of her for a change. There's a day that we were on a call, and I told her that I'd be going to meet some friends in Soweto for a party. Mom was like, "Auma, there's no way you're going to Soweto. Soweto's dangerous. Go back home. You're not driving to Soweto." And I said, "Okay, Mom, no problem. I'll go home." But of course I didn't, because I was a rebel, and Mom knew I was a rebel. I guess we both had our own streak of rebelness. I would always challenge her, and she challenged me too. I don't know if that's what she loved most about me, but I know she loved me. That challenging characteristic of hers reminds me of an incident during my grandfather's funeral where I overheard Uncle Oburu saying to Uncle Raila, "Adwani mondilos nagi nyathi machiengni. Nyathi machiengni ochaya kabisa." I laughed at this, how this disciplinarian could be called Nyathi. We would laugh about it for years. When I relocated back to Kenya and I couldn't find a job, she gave me a job as her PA. She forgave endlessly, even when I personally didn't deem it to be fit for that person. In that respect, she was very much like Baba. She fought for me in politics. When people tried to push me out of the nomination list, she stood firm. When someone questioned if I was even a member of ODM, she retorted, "What party would she belong to if she's not a member of ODM?" She called my uncle many times on this matter, reminding him of how hard I worked in the trenches of the presidential campaigns. She believed in my capabilities and gave me confidence, strength, and courage. Without her, I would not be an MCA. My mother was beautiful, eloquent, and brilliant. She wrote with power, spoke with authority, and lived with grace. Our command of the English language is all down to her instilling a love of reading in us. She was private, proud, and strong, never wanting anyone to see her down. During the last month of her life, sometimes it felt like we were alone. Auntie Ruth, thank you so much for being an older sister and aunt rolled into one. Especially since Uncle Raila had also gone. I know that there's people who are angry with me for not allowing them to see my mom in her state. As I've said, my mom was proud and private. She did not want anyone to see her down. And her brother's death broke her. They had this weird brother-sister relationship that only they understood. They would laugh and quarrel often, but never for long periods. They never held a grudge with each other. There's a day we went to my uncle's house and she was talking to him about some issue. But they didn't agree on it, so he shouted at her and stormed off with his quick, characteristic fast pace. Mom was upset at him and said to me, "How dare he embarrass me in front of my child? How dare he?" About 20 minutes later, he came back downstairs. They started laughing as if nothing had happened. They managed to resolve the matter. Their love and chemistry was hard to comprehend. It was unbreakable. His death hurt her badly. Definitely, Uncle Raila must have asked in shock, "Why have you followed me here?" as my sister said the other day. I hope they're happy over yonder as they enjoy themselves. I'm hurting, and I'm in so much pain. And I don't know if I'll ever get over this. And I probably won't. But I know that When my mom was going, I think she knew she was going. It just hurts me because I feel like she didn't give me enough time to say goodbye to her, and I know that sounds selfish. But I really felt I should have gotten time. Now the biggest part of my heart is gone. I miss her deeply. I miss not having anyone to talk to like that. I panic at the fact that I need to carry on with life without her there. Because if anything, she should have gone, I should have gone first. She was my anchor, my person, my heart. But I asked for grace because I have children, and they too are mourning their grandmother. To my sister Chizi and Taurai, Mom raised us to be strong. It's time now for us to raise her high and make her prouder of us than she already was. To the special trio who stood as a strong pillar to the family, Benta, Wasonga, and Beatrice, I extend my deepest thank you for your devotion and kindness that made Mom's days brighter and comfortable. To Fred Omune from Nairobi Water, thank you for treating Mom with respect and dignity, and by extension me. To Fred Olima, my PA, who was more of a PA to my mother, thank you very much, Fred. To her team of doctors at Nairobi West, Dr. Prakash, Dr. Vishnu, Dr. Ben, Professor C.F. Otieno, together with the hospital staff and the 360 Care Nursing Service that assisted us when she went home. We are profoundly grateful. Your dedication and unwavering spirit carried us through some really tough times. To the funeral committee led by Edwin Ngonga and especially Millicent Okach, baby, thank you for everything you have done to give Mom a beautiful send-off and allowing us to begin our journey of mourning. And to all of you near or far who have walked this journey with us, prayed for us, been there for us financially, I want to say thank you, a big, big thank you. May you all be blessed. Erokaman. Rest in peace, Mom. When we meet again, we're going to have many conversations. But until then, I carry your love, your lessons, and your strength within me. Nengikwe Nyarkango.
Chin up. Keep your chin up. That was my mother's resounding cry through anything and everything. Nothing is so bad that you cannot stand tall and brave and proud. This new reality, Mom, awinja katekna, okanyal kata loso kodi, okanyal kata nyero kodi. But I'll keep the jokes, Mom. I'll keep them. And cheng machopo kono wabronyero. Death, the great leveler, has tried to cow us. Death has tried to break us. It has tried to make us fall. But what made Beryl Odinga strong, what made Raila Odinga strong, was the ability to rise up time and time again against any and all adversity. Our family has gone through a lot, but we are not out. Those values that death has tried to take away, by taking away the people who embodied them, know that they run deep within us. They led by example. They led by example of resilience and the value of reinvention. And the only way we will keep their memories alive is by embodying those values. My mom would have wanted us to all keep fighting. We are all susceptible to death, but do not go gentle into that good night. While you are here, fight for yourself. Fight for the people that you love. Fight for what you believe in. Chunguru mategno. So when you see us as a family, don't think that bad things don't happen to us. The last 2 months has shown the country and indeed the world that the family can go through difficulty. But what the world will see from here is that we can stand tall again. Not just my family, but all of us. That we can all be strong again, and we can all be brave again, and we can all rise again. As my mom always said,
Aluta continua. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to take a minute to acknowledge my brother from the Ambala side, Odinga Ambala, is sitting right there. And so whatever discussions that I had about where my mom is being laid, there's a representative of the Ambala home. I just wanted people to know that.
God is good, and all the time. Yeah, hey. As I look at all the people in this room, wow. Hey, I don't even have the words to tell you how Mom would feel if she knew that all of you showed up just to come and see her. I know what she's probably thinking wherever she is, that, no, this is not what I need right now. No, I don't need this. But she'll probably have that same big smile on her face, and I'll be saying to her, Mom, you know very well this is what you wanted. This was Mom. That was Mom. And I just want to acknowledge one thing that my cousin there was saying, my cousin Papa. Those days when we used to play together are over, my brother. The people have now changed. But those are just great days that we used to share in Zimbabwe with Mom. But Mom was a great person. I'd like to acknowledge my wife here, Brenda, and I'd like to acknowledge my brother from Zimbabwe and his wife. They came all the way from Zimbabwe just to visit. And Maggie Ongele, sitting over there. If you could please stand up, all of you. I'd also like to acknowledge Benta, Beatrice, and Wasonga. I think Wasonga is the one who took the biggest beatings from Mom. As I think everybody knows, Mom used to like to have a big voice. So she used to always be shouting, hey, Wasonga, enango, wadi yawa, hey. And Wasonga used to always, but when Mom got sick, Wasonga was the one who used to cry. And he was always there praying with Benta and Beatrice. So I'd really like to acknowledge them for their contribution. And please, I just want to let them know that we're really going to take care of you even though Mom is not around. We promise that as a family. To me personally, I want to say Mom was not just, I said this before, she was not just a mom to us. She was a mom to everyone. She loved everyone. She gave people all over, she gave herself to people all over the world. And that's the one thing I'm going to miss about her. And that's the one thing that she taught me. And that's the one thing that I'm going to give to everyone else. I'm going to miss you, Mom. I'm going to miss you so, so much. But I'm going to stay strong for you. And I'm going to carry on your name. I'm going to miss you, and thank you for everything, Mom. And I would like to acknowledge her two grandchildren, Noah and Zaria, sitting over there, the ones that she loved so much. Noah used to just love going to his grandmother's house because he knew that he would be getting sweets. So he used to just walk into his grandmother's house like a boss. All the time. And then just walk in there and you'd be really, really happy with a smile, knowing today I'm going to get some sweets. But they had a very special relationship. And I'm sure he's also going to miss her as well. Thank you. Could I please call the Odinga family to come and speak on behalf?
This is my husband. I'd just like to introduce him to everybody, Brian Hallam. We've been together for many years. I won't tell you how many years because that will give away my age. So That's my husband, and he just wrote a tribute for my mom, so he just wanted to read it.
Okay. Good afternoon. I don't know if anybody knows, but Mum loved writing poetry, and this is why I've dedicated this poem to her. She walked this earth a smiling face, a steady hand, a tender heart. No fanfare marked the love she gave, for kindness was her finest grace. She was my mum away from home, a calm, familiar place to be. With gentleness in all she did, she made a space that welcomed me. She seemed not to fear a thing and shout at me when it was due. She raised her voice to set me right, and honesty I knew was true. Her generosity ran so deep, she'd meet me and without a thought, here's something for your pocket, a simple kindness never sought. So now we hold Mum in our hearts, her kindness carried, never gone. For every soul she lifted up, her spirit quietly living on. Rest now, Mum, in perfect peace, your journey ended, your pain all gone. Rest in peace until we meet, and I can call you Mum once more. Rest in peace, Mum. Thank you.
Sorry, Arabura. Amoso uduto no saore. Osaore kendo. Gakora ni luongan Joja Miso Denyo. Anja Gemiala. Anja Kakwany. Oman go kani ja oti luongon Florence Okotho Denyo. Nyaweyo Makagwa. Kane Jaramogi Odinga. Mochunge dera ni mawoda maduong' miluongo ni Dr. Meshak Ohiro Denyo. Wan kamoro no gem go Tregea. Wasewu koro sani wadak kamon Maliera. An wod Kakwany. Mama Eda nyaka kwany. Mano nyamera. Mano auntie mar Dr. Meshak. And mano auntie mar jaod Chorai. Ma en wod Beryl. Matin. Kijana ma oaloso ka. Koro an e nyawand Beryl. And I've known Beryl for very many years. Beryl was my classmate at the University of Nairobi in the year 1973. Beryl was enrolled in the School of Economics, but after a semester she left for the School of Law. So we shared classes for one semester. And we were from Maranda, Shimulatewa, and Beryl was from Kenya High. So we were on the other side of life. And they were on the other side of life, but we went very well. Now it has been said that Beryl was not a politician. I want to tell you that Beryl was a politician who was in the back doors. Our student leader, Honorable James Orengo, those years, Jadwong Orengo Pokwanene for many years. This was our student leader, 73, 74, 75, I think. And wherever Orengo was out there with us on the streets, Beryl was the one mobilizing the women group, the box. And she made sure that all those policemen who are always trying to rape or raped women students. She was the one who was in charge. She was the one who was organizing everything. So I knew Beryl as a very active but a smooth politician operator. And I want that to be recorded. Beryl was very active when Orengo, you remember the Jorgensen days, the dean of the Faculty of Architect and Design. The Danish wanted to keep that profession for themselves. They were failing everybody. Kenyans, nobody, or if anything, just a few would pass. And this was the time when Honorable Orengo sprang into action, and his actions led into the Jorgensen man being chased away. It also opened the engineering department where Africans were not being allowed. The whites wanted to monopolize all those faculties. So, Orengo poda paro wechego. And I've always told people, you people don't know Orengo. Ask us, those who are with Orengo those years, and we'll tell you what happened. Then followed the J.M. Kariuki murder. That was hell itself. So Beryl was very active in all these fronts, and she was a good politician. Fast forward, Beryl went her way, I went my way to do other things. But one afternoon, my daughter comes around Brenda and tells me, I've met a man whom I'm dating, and he's called Torai, and he's the Odinga family. So I asked, who is this man who is in Odinga family, and who is the mother? He said, Beryl. I told her, but Beryl was my classmate year back. Can you give me her number so that we can talk? She gave me Beryl's number. We talked, and all was excitement. Beryl organized for a date. We met at 3D restaurant in Kileleshwa, and we talked and talked of those old days. The beauty of it all again is that Senator Uhuru here was my work colleague at the Treasury. By that time, Senator Uhuru had been transferred to Coast, and he was the Coast Provincial Planning Officer. And whenever we went to Coast to monitor the projects he was implementing there, he was really very welcoming. And maybe Raila did the Thika Road. I want you to know that all those projects which were going on at the coast during that time, it's Uhuru who initiated them. I have in mind Ramisi sugar. I have in mind cashew nuts, but Mayor, you may not know this. I knew your dad was there those days. Makupa Causeway was modernized, and the Likoni ferry was also modernized. Those days there were canoe crossing over from the island to Likoni, the other side. And that's when Uhuru did the Mutwapa Bridge to the World Bank and got it built. So these people meant a lot to me. Now thereafter, we managed a lot of things, and I'm told my time is over. Beryl was very loving. Whenever she went out, she gave us gifts, and we are very happy. Maybe Madam can take another 1 minute and say something. There were certain things they were confiding with Beryl, which I may not be very familiar with. Madam Odenyo, this is Dr. Florence Odenyo, Nyar Jaduongo Koth Wanjari.
God is good all the times, and that is his nature. Mzee osewacho gik monyalo wacho. I may say one or two things about Beryl. Beryl was my good friend. We could go out together. And one time, Beryl gave me an assignment. I was supposed to get Beryl a piece of land, and I got it around Migwena Primary School. That was land which was 10 acres. So Beryl told me she wanted somewhere near the lakeside where she could feel the breeze. Then we went to Kapio, Bangladesh. I got 20 acres